Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're in the all-new 2021 Cadillac Escalade, and wow is all I can say. This interior is something else. They really did completely knock it out of the park in my opinion, and it doesn't share, it seems, a single piece from a from a Tahoe or a GMC. It's a complete bespoke interior, which is what an Escalade should be in my opinion. And we're going to be going over the Apple CarPlay tutorial and review in this Escalade. It is a wireless Apple CarPlay system, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and get started by turning on the ignition. And there you see everything comes to life. What you're viewing there in the cockpit is the AR camera system, which helps with guidance. It's kind of like if you've seen the Mercedes, the latest and greatest Mercedes infotainment, where it shows arrows. Cadillac's doing something similar, but I've never seen where the whole entire gauge cluster is a camera view, which is absolutely out of this world. It really does feel next gen and futuristic. But our main concerns for this video are going to be on this center screen, and all of these are OLED as far as, you know, screen over here, screen in the center, and then the screen over here on the right. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my phone is unlocked. You want to make sure your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are both on. The easiest way to go about this is you see the voice command button here. If there's no phone actively paired, you just press down and hold that, and it's going to ask, do you want to connect a phone? And again, this is a touchscreen, but you can use the control knob down here as well. So it's nice that there are two ways to use this infotainment system. So let's go say connect phone. Add phone. I'm going to go into my Bluetooth, and you'll see it pop up. My Cadillac. So you go ahead, click that, make sure that the pins are correct. And then lastly, you want to say continue here for iPhone support. And once you click that, it takes a second. You want to click use CarPlay on your phone, because that message does pop up as well. And then it should bring you straight into it. So you can see it worked right away, flawlessly, no issues pairing. Again, easiest way to do this is just pressing and holding down this voice button here and going through the steps on the screen. So now you can see that CarPlay is active and it is wireless. I believe that this is a wireless phone charger slot right here. So the easiest way to use the system is to come in here, make sure that you have it set where every time you come into the car, you know, CarPlay is enabled and will automatically start. Slot your phone right here and you are good to go. If you prefer wired CarPlay, you do have USB ports in here, and these will both connect to CarPlay wirelessly, either with a USB-C or a traditional USB. So those do both work. So that's as far as pairing. I would say very, very easy and straightforward, and I love that it's wireless. Now let's get more into the user review of the actual system. So you can see the CarPlay real estate unfortunately doesn't use up all of the screen, and it would have been fantastic if it did. Going from there, the resolution and brightness is absolutely incredible. I really have no complaints. It's very, very bright, and let's go to a driver's perspective. You know, it's very clear and it's large enough. You're not going to have any issues making out anything on that screen. And while it is a very far reach for, you know, I'm 5'10", my arms aren't that long. Some taller drivers who are pushed back might even have more issues. But the thing is, you have this controller down here to control it. So I would honestly probably use this while driving and maybe use the touchscreen while parked. So this works in a similar fashion to like Audi's MMI or even I would say Mazda's rotary knob or Mercedes rotary knob, where this has two different functions. You spin it like a dial and it also moves 4 different directions, and that does come into play with the CarPlay. So you do spin it and it will go through, or you can move it a single direction to kind of go top down, left to right. So fairly very easy to use, and there's 2 ways to use it, which is even better. I like when the car gives you 2 ways to use the CarPlay. So this is, you know, our split screen view, and again, perfectly fine real estate. It would have been nice if they could have utilized more of the screen, but that's nitpicking. Loading up Google Maps, again, a totally useful amount of real estate, and you know, resolution's so great. You know, I don't even think if you had poor eyesight you would have any issues with that screen size. So that's that. Now real quick, let's go maybe to put something back on. So Active Pool is playing here. On the steering wheel, there's some basic controls. You do have a phone and media button here. Now if you press the phone button, unfortunately nothing comes up on the screen except for the fact that you're using CarPlay, and it shows you what phone is playing. There's no way to go through call lists or anything on the gauge cluster, which is unfortunate. Now if you did press this media button, you can see that my phone is selected as a media source, and you click that and use the scroll wheel to kind of go through that list, and you can go in there. And I believe you can actually go ahead and change songs if you're using Apple Music with the scroll wheel up and down, and then you click it in to select. Then over here you do have the ability to also skip tracks up or down. That's what that does here. Doesn't show up on the gauge cluster, especially if you're using the AR, but if we were to switch it to gauge, it does give you a nice little album cover as well as the song title and information there as you skip through. There's a slight delay, but it still works very well. But again, in the AR, none of that shows up. You have to see it changing on that screen. As far as volume controls, I believe that is these buttons down here. So you have mute, volume up, and volume down. And then lastly, this button here, you long press it as long as your phone is connected, and that pulls up Siri like in any other car. So overall, very much enjoy how they implemented this. If you do go out of CarPlay, which there's a couple different ways to do that, you can simply click home down here, which will go back out, or you can click home up here. So there are 2 dedicated ways to get out of CarPlay, which is really nice. I just click the button down here. And if you do go into, you know, over here, you do have a rotary kind of system. If you go past the initial menu with this knob, what you do is you kind of click it towards the right, and that brings you to that rotary knob. And then you can see you have, you know, options to go into CarPlay from here as well, if you want. All right, so that pretty much sums up this review. 2021 and newer Cadillac Escalade wireless Apple CarPlay tutorial. Again, the tech is pretty crazy in this car. As far as CarPlay, nothing out of this world. If they were to somehow, you know, format it to use that real estate, I would say this would be one of the top systems out there. But as is, it's still very good. Definitely right competitive with all the other luxury brands that I've tested, especially Audi and BMW. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, make sure to leave a comment down below. Thank you again, and stay tuned for the next one.